Hi all, welcome back if this is not your first time, and if you're new, I'm really happy to have you visit my channel. What I'm going to do today is share some of my DIY ideas with you, and I'm hoping that someone will find this useful, especially if you're on a budget when it comes to your critters. So almost everything in this scene is actually DIY, obviously with the exception of the critters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the scene and pretty much explain how I made everything. So first I'll start off with the hair bands that the two critters are wearing. So that'll be this one and this one. And so these are actually from Goody. They are hair bands. And so I'm going to show you exactly what I used. This is what they look like. And they come in an assortment of colors. And so for some of them, I just used them as headbands like I did here. This one I cut one in half. I sewed it. And then for both of them, I sewed on the little, I don't know if they're called silk roses. But all of these, of course, are. This is in your crafts section. And so that's how I made those. I also used them as scarves, and I will show you that in a minute. So next, the furniture. These are actually, all three of them were made the same way. So this is actually a piece of cardboard. It actually came with some shelves that I bought for the critters, to display my critters. And I believe they're kind of like corner. Just imagine this with just an L shape. And so I covered it with fabric using tacky glue. And then these are beads. I glued them on. These are actually 3 separate beads in this case. And so to make them look like they're the feet. Not sure how to call it at this moment. And of course these are popsicle sticks, and these are also beads. So that's how I made these. In this case, this is just one complete bead, different fabric, but made the exact same way. I'm going to move on to the greenery now. And the way this was made is, this came from basically a some fake flowers that were going to be disposed of where I work. So I took the smallest ones off because there were much bigger flowers on it, and those were just going to be way too big. And so this right here, what looks like dirt, is really used coffee grinds. You let them dry out completely, and then you mix them with Mod Podge. Now this is not my idea. I actually got this from another video that I had watched as far as how to get things to look like dirt. And the bottom, believe it or not, it's from my son. It's from a paste, but of course it doesn't have to be that. You can find whatever you need to use it as a planter. And like I said, you have to dry it out completely, the coffee grinds. And once they're completely dry, then you mix the Mod Podge in, and then you can put the fake flowers in. Then I'm going to move on to the little cereal box. Now this, you'd be surprised how many boxes of cereal and other food items actually come with little super tiny versions of them on the carton. And so I started cutting them out, and I will make little cereal boxes for the critters. So here, this is from Simply Granola cereal, and I cut them out, and I will show you the cereal boxes I made from these. So here are 2 cereal boxes that had been made for the critters. Now I've also gotten fruit pies. So this one's apple, this is cherry, and I cut these out and I made them to look like also little tiny boxes for the critters. And here's another example. And so here's some more food items for the critters. Now I'm going to move on to what the babies are eating. They're having, looks like it's some type of oatmeal or cream hot cereal. And this is sand, colored sand that I had for a long time. And so I just glued it onto this. And so what is this? This is the seal of a milk carton. When you pull the seal out, it's like a ring, and then it has a little cap. And so the cap reminded me of a plate. So I've taken those and I've converted them into little plates. This is also colored sand, glued on. Usually I will use, in this case, crazy glue. Now, this is actually an old children's block, and I glued some fabric to it to make it look like a cute little child's table. Lastly, I'm going to move on to the fruit tree, and that obviously I did not make. This was just a fake plant that I bought, but these two-tone beads, I got them at a craft store, and I glued them on to the fake tree to make it, well, fake plant, to make it look like a fruit tree. And so what I did also with some of the beads is I tossed them on the ground surrounding the supposed fruit tree to make it look like they had fallen from the tree. These beads, I use them to make them look like they're berries. And these caps, the basket that I'm using is actually it is the cap from whipped cream. And so depending on which whipped cream you buy, they come in different colors. So I have, as you can see, I've bought 3 different types of whipped cream, filled them up with the beads, and so it looks like berries for the critters. Here, what I did with the two-toned beads was I took first a cap. I could have been from a juice, and I glued with hot glue some yarn onto it, and then I filled it up with the two-tone beads. And here, this last one, also some beads, and I'm not sure if there's a cap in here or not, but this is twine, and I can assure you I burned my fingers a couple of times with that hot glue. But all of this was DIY. Lastly, I do like working with popsicle sticks, and so here I've made 2 fences to use as backgrounds and as fences for the critters. I really do hope that some of these DIY ideas were useful. Thank you for watching. Bye now.